How is it for you to choreograph for yourself, though? Because you're choreographing a fight that you're also in.
Oh man, I always try to give myself the coolest stuff to do.
Of course, of course.
But it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because then it's like, oh man, if it sucks, there's nobody to blame
But you,
but you, right?
All right, welcome to Behind the Bard. I was waiting for like theme music or something
Yeah,
to
no,
kick in.
it's all you.
But this is Behind the Bard, Shakespeare Royal Oak's podcast about the season. I'm Craig Ester. I am playing Macduff in Macbeth, and I'm joined by...
Brian Ogden playing Banquo in Macbeth this season.
All right, so I guess the first thing is that I think this is my 5th season. How many seasons is this for you?
Man, I am not entirely sure. It's probably about 5, maybe a little bit more. Sure. I know my first show was R&J, and I played Mercutio, and then I did a production of Mackers, and I've done a bunch of stuff kind of since. I did Romeo and Juliet again. Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna do Mackers again. So I'm probably right there with you.
Cool. Yeah. So what keeps you coming back to the company?
Oh, 2 in a row. I feel like I should have given that one to you. What keeps you coming back to the company?
I think it's really fun to be a part of the event. Like once we get to the point where we're out of rehearsals and we're just getting there and you're seeing all the cars line up and the people showing up, it's just really fun. Also, just as a person of color who saw Merry Wives of Windsor in 2014, mm-hmm. I was like, there's a Shakespeare company down the street from where I grew up, and I didn't know about it. And I just have wanted more and more people to know that it exists and more different types of people to sort of get into the room to see the shows. And so that's been really fun to get to do by being a person who's on stage or behind the scenes here.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure. I do think that, man, I hate to misuse the term unique, right?
Sure.
But it's quite rare to be able to do any play of any kind in an outdoor setting, let alone Shakespeare. It feels, probably there's more and more of it being done in the area, but certainly for a very long time, it felt like many, if not most theaters were hesitant to go near it. Mm-hmm. And just to be able to do it in such a beautiful setting in the first place feels like maybe a novelty, but I don't care, great fun. And I think that especially over the years, the care that the company has taken to really craft the atmosphere of the event, right? Almost entirely separate from the show itself, right? With adding beer and wine and ice cream and popcorn, the energy of the thing really does feel like an event. And given some of the complications that go into producing it, right, that more traditional theatrical productions don't have to deal with, I think that really kind of has always has come to seal the deal for me in terms of why you would do this over, some other production with the same time and space, maybe.
Yeah. And I have seen now Shakespeare in the Park and done Shakespeare in the Park in various other places, and I've not seen a place do a better job of sealing off and really creating that sacred space where you can feel like you can focus on the play and the sound's not too crazy and all of that stuff. You can actually focus, which is just very rare in the world. Yeah.
100%. And it feels like even the patrons, there's there's the train going through, and even with disc golfers and an ambulance, an airplane, whatever it is, it does largely feel like even the environment just beyond the walls of the space is quite respectful and even frequently entranced by it, and I feel cheesy, articulating that, but I think it's true, you know what I mean? And then, so that's a very cool experience. How are you feeling about about playing Macduff.
You got the
This
segue.
season.
I was thinking about it too.
Yeah, no, I could see it in your face. I was like, no, I'm taking it. I'm taking
Okay,
it.
all right, yeah. So Macduff is a part I've played a couple times where I did it on tour with Michigan Shakespeare for a few years. And so it's been fun to try to approach it this time as if I've never done it before and try to like go back to like just pull away all the other like initial ideas I've had about him.
You're not borrowing anything from yourself, be honest.
It's not that I'm not borrowing anything from myself,
Okay.
but I'm trying to like freshly analyze it as like a new version of the role, trying to like develop it in a different way. So the thing I think I've hit on this time is he is that like rough person who like he's not the most fun to be around, but you want him in your corner because he's one of those like very gruff people with a heart of gold where like he's kind, but he's not nice.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you're cold, he'll throw a blanket on you, but he's not going to go out of his way to make you feel better about what's going on. And so it's been fun getting to like discover that aspect and play with it. How about you for Banquo?
Oh man, I'm really enjoying being dead by intermission, like that, having the second act. It's mostly it's fun to get to play with Drew, and to have such a chunk of my time in the story happen before things go sour to such an extent, right? Yeah, that's been a treat that I wasn't really expecting in picking up the role.
Yeah, you know what this is making me think of? Those like variety actor on actors things where it's like, I haven't seen you in a while, and two actors will just talk for like 20 minutes. I was like, that's a little bit what this is. But in addition to being dead by intermission, you are also the fight choreographer for the show. And this is not a show that like just has the one big fight. Shakespeare's like, what if I just keep putting more fights in the play?
Yeah. And it's funny when you consider that it's his shortest play, right? Am I right about that?
It's okay. At least of the tragedies, it's got to be the shortest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of fights. One of which is executed, at least in part, by you. So delightfully. Thank you for that.
In part, yes.
I feel like I should warn you, man. If we go down the fight choreo, this is going to be the end of the podcast.
Hey, listen,
I will talk about this for the rest of the time.
As someone who just did SAFD certification in a weapon, I will talk to you about fights as long as you want.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's been a lot of fun. I think there have been some challenges associated with it. Obviously, the set has, to be fair, has given us more coverage now than I thought at one point it would. But still, it's been tricky to kind of figure out how to get bodies on and off stage. Obviously, a ton of people are dying in this play, so that's a thing. I love having the opportunity, the presence of the murderers, right? The fact that unlike, say, Romeo and Juliet, which also has so many fights, but those fights are, with the exception of the opening melee, really, they're largely one-on-one occurrences. Here we've got at least 2 murders in which it's 3-on-1, 2-on-2, right? Which I think is challenging in its way, but like what a delightful problem to be able to solve. And then I knew, like I was choreographing the sword fight like 3 months ago. I taught a summer class at OCC, and the whole assignment of that class was like I just taught that fight. And they were not very good. But the point of the class was for me to work on my choreography.
Yeah.
Right. And it's been cool to see you and Drew take it up, because it was to a certain extent, some of it not necessarily, but a good chunk of it was designed for specifically the two of you to execute, right? And so where you have size differences, reach differences, weight differences, whatever that might be, I think it makes a difference to see the two of you finally executing it. It makes sense, I think, in a way that when it existed in my own mind, it didn't entirely.
Sure.
So how does it feel? It's like, it's long and complicated,
Yes.
man. Thanks for not murdering me.
Oh
about
no,
it.
it's all good. I everything that we've sort of done, I've been lucky to have done enough fights in my life to go, okay, this is just a step of learning it. There's always the step of like, we sort of kind of know it, or we think we know it better than we do, and we go faster than we should. And then there's the, okay, now we have to pull back and find the nuances and things. And I think today we really hit that place of starting to find the character's tactics in the fight, which I think was something we like really need to like slow down and go back and get, so that now I know that if Drew's gonna come at my left side, then I know that I'm taking the sword out of the way because I need space to do X thing, and so on, so forth. And so now the actors are sort of starting to re-enter the fight, as opposed to the technicians who have been working on it, throughout the time. Yeah. How is it for you to choreograph for yourself though? Because you're choreographing a fight that you're also in, and that's an interesting thing to me.
Oh man, I always try to give myself the coolest stuff to do.
Of course.
Honestly, I do enjoy choreographing for myself, if only because this is going to sound so pretentious, and I apologize for it.
Okay.
But it nevertheless, it is, for better or for worse, it's true. It's really rare in this region, right, that I get the opportunity to work with or choreograph for a stage combatant who has as much experience as training as I do, right? And all that means is that there are certain things that, certain tricks, certain moves, certain like cool stuff that like I just don't get to break out that often, and not like I really did that in this play. I don't think it would have been appropriate. Like basically, my job is to just get murdered, but it is fun to be able to like, take a toy out of the toy box that you never get to play with, right? So it's cool in that respect anyway. Yeah.
And something I haven't seen very often is seeing the choreographer just making it for themselves. It's just a really interesting like dynamic to see playing out in the room.
Oh, man, you hope so. And I do think, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because then it's like, oh man, if it sucks, there's nobody to blame
but you,
right? At least when you're choreographing for other people, at the end of the day, you do the best you can, but it's like, look, man, the one thing I can't do is get on stage and do it for you, right? Like that's all it is. But it's been fun, and you guys have been a ton of fun to work with. I don't know how much more time we have, but I truly do want to ride this fight stuff into the ground.
We can.
What is enough about my choreography?
Oh, okay.
What do you love about my choreography?
What do I love about your? So one of the things is that it's just introducing so many new things for me because, like I said, I've done broadsword, rapier, dagger. Like I've done several weapons through the years.
Oh, right, okay.
And so this is the first time working with short sword. And so I immediately asked you, wait, how close am I supposed to get with this? Because I'm used to having like 3 or 4 more inches of steel in front of me, and like it's just different movement with different kinds of weapons. So that's cool. And then the aspects of like the Filipino parries and some of the I've never gotten to do like a good kick. I get a nice Spartan kick in this show, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. And then just putting it on this set, because I've again also never been in a fight where we've had to change levels, and changing the levels of like, okay, I'm gonna escape, I'm gonna go up, but then I have to bring the sword back down and get on to the next level.
How was it today? Not to interrupt,
Sure.
but to put it onto that stage for the first time, or even the second time as we actually ran the show, like.
Yeah, not too bad. I think, again, we just had to slow down to remember our spacing. And there was once where Drew went, "You're going over there." And I was like, "Oh, that's right. Yep, we said it was over here." And I have to remember that it's over here. But I think as we continue on, it's cool because it is really cool to tactically use the heights and use going up and down to the advantage of the character. So it's really fun. There's also this thing I'm just thinking about now because we're talking about this is the 25th anniversary.
Oh, yes.
Of Shakespeare
Yes,
Royal Oak.
yes.
I got it in, Ed. I got it in. But now we're at the point where, there's only 37 plays, and now we're circling around to plays are coming back. So I was doing one version of Macbeth and then coming back all these years later and doing another version of Macbeth.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is crazy. There's some that they haven't. There's quite a few.
I know
that they
some
haven't gone near.
Yeah.
I mean, you want brand recognition. I get it.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a Coriolanus or a Titus Andronicus
Yes.
movie, right? Ed,
Give it to. We'll do it.
give it to the people.
Yes, they want it.
Dream role or play to do in the park
Yeah,
for you
I've got a real.
today, anyway.
Yeah, I've got a real interest in directing Julius Caesar because I've never gotten to direct it, and I think it would be perfect for the park. And I just it's just in my head, so I'd really love to get to do that out there one of these days. What about you?
Oh man, there have been. Yeah, it depends on the day, right? Like right now, I've been interested in Coriolanus for a very long time.
Sure.
There's some cool fights and opportunities in there. I've also recently got it into my head that I would really like to play Shylock. I don't know when or how, or even if I have any business, frankly, going near that role, sure. Right? But if just in terms of what would I love to do, those are up there for me. I'm curious to know what about Julius Caesar from a director's mindset. Sure. What is it about that play that attracts you?
There's this really interesting strain of this idea of the consequences of breaking traditions. Ooh. And the consequence of it's one thing to be a revolutionary in theory and have all these ideas of how to change the world. It's another thing to cause the world changing event and then not know what to do. Yes. And I think that's what's so interesting about that play. And of all of his histories, I think it's my favorite one of them because it's so weirdly structured and it's so because he's not really just doing the beats of the history. He's actually spending more time with the humans trying to figure out why these humans would do this thing. And then you have Brutus, who is supposed to be the tragic hero, does this thing, then goes, "Oh, I have no idea what to do with the world now that I have it. Yeah. All I know how to do is then try to fight to maintain the power." But you're still hurting the people while you're trying to maintain power. So how does one govern? Because it's one thing to win, it's another thing to actually govern. So I think all that stuff is moving throughout that play. And I love the way that Shakespeare uses nature as a metaphor for when monarchies or rule or governance is out of order, and seeing Rome change that way and seeing the mobs and stuff like that is all things I've just been really wanting to stage for a while.
Interestingly enough, I feel like we were talking a little bit about this last night.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of that in Mackers.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And in some ways, I think one of the most interesting parts of the play, the production, depending on your perspective, I suppose, is to observe at what point which characters or thanes, regardless, make their move away from the new king and toward a rebellious act that puts them, as tragically evidenced by your family, right? Yeah. Very much in the jaws of the beast. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? In terms of danger.
Yeah, he's the first one to sort of pay that big price. I mean, obviously Seward loses a son as well, but it's the first person to step out is you're gonna get the brunt of it, and all the characters sort of have to decide how much is too much for them. And I don't want to get into our world today, but we're seeing this thing of like, how much is too much
yeah.
before we decide to make a move and make sort of different changes. And each character has to decide what that sort of next right thing is for themselves.
Yeah. I think I saw something not so long ago that talked about Marx never imagined that there would be ice cream or that ice cream would be so cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The things that are used to sort of like keep us mollified, right? And just content enough not to, right? And I think that you can, to what extent that is on display in Mackers, I don't know, but I think that that's a question that certainly every actor as every character has to answer. And it's certainly, I don't think you can deny that Macduff is the very first one to say like, no, this isn't
right. Yeah.
This actually isn't. This isn't okay, and we need to address this.
Well, and even because you get to voice it as Banquo right after, like the whole thing happens, and you're like, I know something's going on, but you don't he doesn't, from my perspective, doesn't exactly have the like facility to like do something about it yet, but he kind of knows something's wrong. What do you think?
Well, yeah, right. That's a great question. I think Banquo is torn between his love for Macbeth. Maybe not torn between, but the waters are muddied for Banquo because he has such great affection for Macbeth. They have such a history together, but also he was there to witness the prophecy, right? And so I think that to a certain extent, the difficulty that he faces is this actually just happening? Is this supposed to be happening? And of course, it's not until really it's too late that he talks about realize, oh man, yeah, I think you maybe have played foully for this, and then of course it's too late to really act on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never thought about this. So you just said that how Banquo was such a microcosm for the whole theme of the play because he's asking that question constantly throughout. Like almost everything he says is like, hey man, I think they're leading you the wrong way. Hey, should we trust this? Is this right? Back and forth. And that's really, really interesting.
It's like, because it brings into question really like the whole idea of fate, right? Like, are they telling us something that would happen anyway? Or is there telling us the thing that is going to make it happen by our inaction? Yeah. Right?
Look at us. We got Marxism in. We got Fate and Free Will in. We talked about the plot of Julius Caesar.
Right, look, Ed, you're in good hands.
It's okay. They can edit. I don't know where we are with. I do have to ask you one thing because I'm doing KidsAct this year. I'm teaching the Shakespeare class for the kids. Nice. So I know have you done the combat for those before?
I did it like 10 years ago or something. And I did not do it well. I will just say that.
I didn't mean to bring up a sore spot.
No. I mean, I'm fine with it, but I think everyone was disappointed, and I was like, "Wait, you want me to get children to do what?
To do what? Yeah. Poor Aiden. Aiden's teaching the combat class this year. I'm sure he's got it.
Good. I'm sure he's going to do a great job. Better him than me. How's it going? I mean, KidsAct in general. I mean,
yeah, we're getting ready. We're not starting until after we open, which was like one of the reasons. Like, thank you, because I can't do it. So we'll open, and then I believe classes will start that Monday, which is like the 28th.
Smart.
I should know because I got to be there. But yeah, so I'm teaching the Shakespeare class, so they're going to be doing. The kids are going to be doing the cauldron scenes. So we're going to get kids being witches and doing the cauldron. Because I just like the idea that they get to play with the language, and since they get to play with that trochaic tetrameter for the nerds listening, so like the bouncing back and forth, the reverse iambic.
This is the greatest episode.
The greatest episode
has ever been.
And I don't know what time we're at, but we're just going.
You're welcome, everyone.
You're welcome, world. But yeah, so I like them getting to play with that witchy language, and then the older kids are going to do some midsummer scenes because the teen ensemble is going to do Midsummer, I think, as their show this year. So it'll be nice for them to get like little doses of each show, which then allows us to be like, hey, parents, come see these plays because your kids are now very excited about it. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you're involved with that. That's I have long thought it was a very, very cool project. I just have enough self-awareness maybe to recognize that I am not the man for that job. I'm so sorry.